the conservative commentator, the media personality, the man with a perfectly crafted public image. But behind closed doors, something was stirring, something that fans are only now beginning to piece together. And it all involves none other than Brigitte Macron. Yes, you heard that right. Brigitte Macron, the glamorous, enigmatic First Lady of France. The whispers had always been there, subtle hints, sly comments, mysterious smiles, but no one truly understood what was going on. Until now, Candace, usually the composed and sharp-minded voice in the room, had always brushed off the rumors. "It's nothing," she said. "People are reading too much into it." But last night, everything changed. What Candace finally realized has set social media on fire, left fans in utter disbelief, and created a whirlwind of questions that no one knows how to answer. Emotions ran high as insiders revealed details that were previously thought impossible. It all started with a cryptic message from an anonymous source, claiming that Kirk had been aware of something monumental about Brigitte Macron that could shake reputations and change narratives forever. At first, people laughed it off. "This has to be fake," they said. But the more Candace dug, the more she realized that the pieces fit too perfectly to ignore. Private meetings, late-night texts, and a chain of events that no one expected. Charlie had been sitting on a secret, and it was only a matter of time before it surfaced. Fans are shocked. The family was left divided. Friends whispered behind closed doors, trying to make sense of the unthinkable. And amidst all the chaos, Candace felt a sense of betrayal unlike anything she had experienced before. She confronted Charlie directly, her voice shaking with anger and confusion. "How could you hide this from me?" she demanded, her eyes searching for answers that weren't coming. Charlie, ever the composed figure, could only respond with a tight-lipped silence, his mind racing as the weight of the secret threatened to crush him. But that was only the beginning, because as Candace uncovered more, the story twisted in ways no one saw coming. Allies turned into rivals, texts leaked, and suddenly, what started as a simple secret had escalated into a full-blown drama that spanned continents, connecting political intrigue with personal vendettas. The tension was palpable. Every conversation was loaded, every glance suspicious, and every rumor a potential bomb waiting to explode. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more intense, a new revelation hit, one that would leave Candace reeling and fans clamoring for answers. The truth about Kirk and Brigitte Macron was bigger than anyone could have imagined. A story tangled with betrayal, ambition, and shocking secrets. Tonight, we're going to take you inside this whirlwind drama, scene by scene, text by text, confrontation by confrontation. By the end, you'll understand why Candace finally got it, why emotions ran high, and why the world is still buzzing with questions that may never be answered. Get ready, because what you're about to hear will change everything you thought you knew about Kirk and about the secret he's been hiding all along. Candace couldn't believe what she had just discovered. For months, she had suspected that something was off. But the pieces were finally falling into place, and the truth was more shocking than she could have ever imagined. She stared at the phone in her hand, her fingers trembling as she scrolled through the latest messages. Every line, every detail, seemed to point to the same conclusion. Kirk had been hiding something monumental about Brigitte Macron. And now, Candace was forced to confront it. The room felt smaller somehow, the air heavier, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath, waiting for her next move. "Candace," a voice called softly from the other room, but she barely registered it. Her mind was racing, replaying the texts, the emails, the fleeting interactions that had always seemed insignificant but now screamed for attention. "This can't be real," she whispered to herself, the disbelief heavy in her chest. And yet, deep down, she knew that it was. She had always trusted Charlie, respected his instincts, and admired his composure. But now, she felt a sharp pang of betrayal. The Kirk she knew, the man she had relied on for insight and guidance, was a stranger sitting on a secret that could change everything. Fans had started noticing the tension as well. Social media was ablaze with speculation, some praising Candace for her intuition, others defending Charlie, insisting that the rumors were absurd. Yet the more Candace investigated, the more undeniable the evidence became. Private dinners with Brigitte, that seemed casual at first glance, now looked calculated. Each encounter meticulously timed and strategically placed. The cryptic messages she had initially brushed off as coincidence suddenly revealed themselves as coded communications. A secret dialogue between two worlds that were never meant to intersect. The realization hit her like a thunderclap. Kirk had known something for months, and he had kept it hidden from everyone closest to him. Candace decided she couldn't wait any longer. She needed answers, and she needed them now. She dialed Charlie's number, her hands shaking slightly despite her efforts to remain composed. The call connected, and she could hear his voice, calm but with an undertone of unease that immediately set her on edge. "Candace," he said, I think we need to talk." That simple phrase made her heart pound in her chest. She braced herself, ready for whatever revelations were about to come crashing down. "Charlie," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "How long have you known? How long have you been hiding this?" The silence on the other end was deafening, stretching longer than she could bear. When he finally spoke, it was in fragments, hesitant, as if every word was weighed carefully before being released. "It's complicated. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. I never meant for it to go this far." Candace felt a surge of anger, mixed with confusion. "Complicated? Charlie, this isn't just about you anymore. This is Brigitte Macron. This is politics. This is everything. Fans are talking. People are speculating. And the truth is leaking. Why didn't you tell me?" Her voice cracked slightly, and she hated herself for the vulnerability it revealed, but she couldn't help it. The betrayal cut too deep. As they spoke, a storm of emotions engulfed Candace. Betrayal, fear, anger, and a strange sense of exhilaration all collided within her. She had always thrived on uncovering the truth, but this was different. This was personal. This was the kind of revelation that could alter lives, careers, and reputations in an instant. She thought of Brigitte, of the poised, elegant woman whose presence had seemed untouchable, whose aura commanded respect and fascination. And now, suddenly, Brigitte was intertwined with Charlie in ways that no one could have predicted. The implications were staggering, the potential fallout unimaginable. Meanwhile, the public was already reacting. Fans flooded social media with theories, dissecting every past appearance of Charlie Kirk and Brigitte Macron, connecting the dots in ways that only fueled the frenzy. "What are they hiding?" one post demanded. "Candace finally sees it," exclaimed another. The comments section became a battlefield of opinion, speculation, and heated arguments. Candace watched the chaos unfold, her stomach twisting with anxiety. She knew that once the story broke fully, there would be no turning back. The family was left divided, friends were questioning loyalties, and Charlie's carefully constructed image was beginning to fracture. Candace decided to confront the situation head-on. She arranged a private meeting, insisting that only she and Charlie would be present. The room was tense, charged with unspoken accusations and raw emotion. Charlie arrived, his expression a mixture of apprehension and determination. He sat across from her, and for a moment, neither spoke. The silence was deafening, each second stretching like an eternity. Finally, Candace broke it. "Tell me everything, Charlie, no more secrets." His eyes met hers, revealing a flicker of something she hadn't seen before. The narrative in ways that no one had suspected. Candace's mind raced. She needed allies, people she could trust, but trust was in short supply. Rumors had already begun to swirl, and the media was poised to pounce on any hint of scandal. The potential fallout was immense. Charlie's position, her credibility, Brigitte's public image, all were now precariously balanced on a knife's edge. She felt a surge of determination. She would uncover the full truth, no matter the cost. But she also knew that once the world learned what she had learned, there would be no turning back. The drama was just beginning, and the first wave of shock had only scratched the surface of what was coming. As the conversation continued, Charlie revealed more details, each revelation more staggering than the last. Candace's heart pounded with a mixture of fear and excitement. The story was bigger than anyone could have imagined, full of twists, hidden motives, and secrets that had been carefully guarded for months. She realized that this was the kind of revelation that would change public perception forever. The emotions ran high, the tension was palpable, and Candace felt herself at the center of a storm she could neither predict nor control. Outside, the world was watching. Fans speculated, gossip spread like wildfire, and every small detail was analyzed with obsessive intensity. Candace knew that the story she was uncovering had the power to dominate headlines, to capture attention, and to spark debates that would rage for weeks. She also knew that Charlie Kirk's secrets were just the beginning. Brigitte Macron's involvement added layers of complexity, intrigue, and danger that made every interaction, every text, and every meeting fraught with significance. The night stretched on, and Candace sat across from Charlie, absorbing every word, every confession, every hint of truth. The room was charged with emotion, the air thick with tension, the stakes impossibly high. She realized that she was not just witnessing a revelation, she was part of it, entwined in a narrative that was unfolding in real time. A story that could define reputations, careers, and lives. The gravity of it all pressed down on her, but alongside the weight came a surge of determination. She would see this through, She would uncover the full truth, and she would ensure that the world finally understood the depth, the drama, and the stakes of what Charlie Kirk had known all along about Brigitte Macron. The morning after that intense confrontation, Candace couldn't shake the feeling that everything had changed. The room seemed emptier somehow, the air heavier with the weight of Charlie's revelations. She replayed every word in her mind, analyzing his expressions, the pauses, the hesitations. Each detail, each nuance, now felt loaded with meaning. It was as if she had stepped into a world she didn't fully understand, a world of secrets, hidden alliances, and unexpected betrayals that stretched far beyond anything she had imagined. She decided to dig deeper. Every text, every email, every photograph became a clue, a puzzle piece that could illuminate the truth. She began to map out Charlie's recent interactions, cross-referencing them with public appearances, social media posts, and insider reports. The pattern that emerged was startling. There were meetings that had previously seemed innocuous, dinners that had appeared casual, and even brief exchanges at events, all of them now taking on a sinister undertone. The evidence suggested that Charlie had been strategically managing information, carefully controlling what the public and even those closest to him knew about Brigitte Macron. Candace's phone buzzed incessantly. Fans, insiders, and journalists reached out, sensing the storm brewing. Some messages were supportive, applauding her diligence and courage, while others were accusatory, questioning her motives and loyalty. Emotions ran high across every platform, and Candace felt the pressure mounting. The world was watching, and every move she made would be scrutinized. Yet she refused to back down. She had seen the truth, and she knew it was her responsibility to uncover it fully. Meanwhile, Charlie seemed unusually distant. He avoided direct answers, deflected questions, and maintained a carefully curated calm that only heightened Candace's suspicion. She noticed subtle changes in his demeanor, hesitation in his speech, fleeting looks of worry, and moments when his composure faltered for just a second. Those brief glimpses told Candace more than any words could. She realized that Charlie was carrying a burden heavier than she had imagined, a secret that had the potential to shake even the most stable of relationships. The tension escalated when Candace discovered a series of private communications between Charlie and an unknown intermediary. The messages hinted at meetings in Paris, unexpected transfers of information, and references to high-profile figures that sent shivers down her spine. One particular message stood out. "Ensure discretion. Brigitte cannot know this yet. The timing must be perfect." Candace's mind raced. The stakes were enormous, the implications staggering. She began to understand why Charlie had been so guarded, why he had concealed the truth for so long. But the realization also filled her with a mix of fear and determination. She had to expose the story before it spiraled out of control. As she dug further, Candace's investigation uncovered surprising alliances and unexpected betrayals. Close friends of Charlie, people she had trusted implicitly, were involved in covering up aspects of the truth. Whispers of manipulation, coercion, and hidden agendas emerged, painting a picture far more complex than she had anticipated. She realized that she was navigating a labyrinth of deception, where every ally could potentially be an adversary, and every revelation brought new risks. The drama took a public turn when a leaked photograph surfaced online. It showed Charlie and Brigitte together in what appeared to be a private, intimate setting. Fans exploded with speculation. Emotions ran high, debates erupted, and the media frenzy intensified. Candace watched as the world reacted in real time, the chaos reflecting the storm raging inside her. She knew that the photo, while not definitive, was a catalyst, accelerating the exposure of secrets that had long been buried. The family, friends, and fans were left divided, caught between disbelief and fascination. Candace decided she couldn't face this alone. She reached out to a trusted confidant, someone who had always provided level-headed advice. The conversation was tense, filled with rapid-fire questions, speculative analysis, and moments of incredulous laughter at the absurdity of the situation. "This is bigger than any of us imagined," Candace said, her voice taut with tension. "Charlie Kirk has been holding information that could change everything about Brigitte Macron's image, and possibly even political perceptions. We have to act carefully." The confidant nodded, understanding the gravity of the revelation and the delicate balance required to navigate the fallout. Just when Candace thought she had a handle on the situation, another twist emerged. An insider, previously thought loyal to Charlie, leaked a conversation revealing that Brigitte herself had suspected that someone close to Charlie was aware of sensitive information. The timing was impeccable, the implications explosive. Fans were now theorizing that Brigitte had been silently monitoring Charlie's communications, adding an entirely new layer to the narrative. Candace realized that the game had shifted. What she thought was a controlled investigation was now a race against time to uncover the truth before Brigitte or anyone else acted. The tension reached a peak during a confrontation at a high-profile event. Candace and Charlie were seated together when a mutual acquaintance unexpectedly approached. Their expressions tight with curiosity and suspicion. The conversation was polite on the surface, but the undercurrent was electric. Subtle glances, half smiles, and carefully chosen words made it clear that everyone was aware of the brewing storm. Candace felt a surge of adrenaline. This was the moment when secrets could be exposed, when loyalties could be tested, and when the world could finally see the truth unfold. Charlie's reaction was telling. For the first time, his calm demeanor longer just about secrets. It was about the intricate dance of power, perception, and personal stakes that defined the lives of those involved. Finally, the night ended with a private conversation between Candace and Charlie, where the tension reached its zenith. The air was thick with unspoken accusations, barely restrained emotion, and the weight of impending revelation. "I never wanted it to get this far," Charlie admitted, his voice low and strained. "I thought I could control it, protect everyone, and keep things from spiraling, but now, it's out of my hands." Candace felt a mixture of anger, sympathy, and determination. The story was far from over, but she had gained a crucial understanding. Charlie Kirk's knowledge of Brigitte Macron was not just a secret. It was a key to a larger narrative that could change everything. The fans, meanwhile, continued their speculation. Social media buzzed with theories, conspiracies, and heated debates. Every detail was scrutinized, every interaction analyzed, and every potential revelation dissected. Candace observed this frenzy, understanding that the public's fascination was both a challenge and an opportunity. She had to navigate the narrative carefully, revealing enough to satisfy curiosity without triggering uncontrolled fallout. The stakes had never been higher, and the drama was only intensifying. By the end of the night, Candace realized that she had uncovered only a fraction of the truth. The layers of secrecy, influence, and personal dynamics were deeper than she had imagined. Charlie Kirk had indeed known something significant about Brigitte Macron, but the full story, its implications, its consequences, and its potential to shock the world was still unfolding. She felt a surge of determination. Whatever it took, she would see the story through, unraveling every twist, confronting every betrayal, and revealing the drama in its full, sensational glory. The days that followed were a whirlwind. Candace found herself living in a state of constant tension, every phone buzz sending a jolt through her body. Charlie Kirk seemed more guarded than ever, his public appearances meticulously calculated, his words measured, each one a potential minefield. Yet, despite the careful exterior, Candace could sense the undercurrent of anxiety in every glance, every hesitant smile, every pause that lingered just a second too long. The secret he carried about Brigitte Macron was like a shadow hovering over them both, growing heavier with each passing moment. Candace knew that she couldn't rely solely on observation. She had to dig deeper, to uncover the full scope of the story before it slipped through her fingers. She began connecting the dots between Charlie's recent trips, late-night communications, and high-profile interactions. Each connection seemed innocuous on the surface, but when viewed through the lens of what she now knew, they formed a clear pattern of secrecy and control. Charlie had been orchestrating events with precision, managing perceptions, and keeping critical information hidden, not just from the public, but from her, his closest confidant. The tension escalated when a mysterious email arrived in Candace's inbox. The sender was anonymous, the content cryptic. "The truth is closer than you think. Trust no one completely. Brigitte is aware of more than you realize." Candace's heart raced as she reread the message multiple times. This was no ordinary tip. It hinted at a larger web of intrigue, one that involved powerful players and hidden agendas. Emotions ran high as she realized that the stakes were far beyond personal betrayal. They were political, strategic, and potentially explosive on a global scale. Determined to act, Candace arranged a secret meeting with Charlie. The room was dimly lit, charged with anticipation, each second stretching like an eternity. She confronted him directly, her voice steady but sharp. "Charlie, I need to know everything. No more half-truths. No more omissions. If Brigitte is involved and it's clear she is, then I need the full picture." Charlie's eyes flickered, revealing a mix of fear, guilt, and resignation. He took a deep breath and began to speak, his words deliberate, each one weighed with the gravity of the revelation. "Candace," he said, "I never wanted anyone to get hurt. Brigitte, she's more complex than anyone imagines. She's aware of things, yes, but not everything. And the timing has to be perfect. If the wrong people find out too soon, it could ruin everything: careers, reputations, even alliances. That's why I've been careful. That's why I haven't told you everything yet." Candace listened intently, absorbing each word, sensing the delicate balance of truth and omission. The room felt charged, the tension almost unbearable. She realized that Charlie was not just hiding a secret, he was navigating a minefield, and she was now inevitably drawn into it. Outside the room, the world was restless. Fans speculated endlessly, analyzing every interaction between Charlie and Brigitte, piecing together fragments of a story that had captivated millions. Social media platforms buzzed with theories, accusations, and wild guesses. Candace finally understands. One post screamed, "What is Charlie hiding?" Demanded another. The drama was escalating, and the public fascination was relentless. Candace knew that any misstep could turn speculation into scandal, and the tension was palpable. The plot thickened when a trusted associate revealed that Brigitte Macron had taken a more active role in monitoring Charlie than anyone realized. Private meetings, intercepted communications, and subtle inquiries suggested that she was aware of more than she let on. Candace's mind reeled. Brigitte's involvement added a new layer of complexity, one that could shift the entire narrative. The stakes were now higher than ever, with global implications that extended far beyond their immediate circle. Candace decided she needed to confront Brigitte directly. Arranging a discreet meeting was no easy task. Brigitte's schedule, security, and entourage made access nearly impossible, but Candace's determination was unwavering. With careful planning, timing, and a bit of luck, she managed to secure a brief private encounter. The moment was electric. Brigitte's composure was flawless, her eyes sharp, her presence commanding. Candace felt the weight of the secret between them, a silent acknowledgement of the power it held. "I know some things," Candace began cautiously, measuring each word. "I know that Charlie Kirk has information, and I know that it concerns you. I need to understand, what do you know? What are the limits?" Brigitte's response was measured, enigmatic. "Knowledge is a tool," she said quietly, her voice calm but edged with steel. "Timing is everything, and not everyone who seeks the truth is ready to handle it." Candace felt the layers of complexity deepen. Brigitte was not a passive participant, she was a strategist, fully aware of the implications, and willing to maneuver behind the scenes to protect her interests. The confrontation left Candace both exhilarated and anxious. She realized that the story was far from simple. It involved not just secrets, but power, influence, and strategic timing. Charlie Kirk's knowledge of Brigitte Macron was only one piece of a much larger puzzle, a puzzle that spanned continents, involved high-profile players, and had the potential to disrupt alliances, reputations, and public perception. The more she learned, the more the drama intensified, each revelation raising new questions and deeper intrigue. As Candace navigated this labyrinth of secrets, she began to notice subtle shifts in Charlie's behavior. He became more cautious, more calculating, and at times, visibly tense. His public appearances were polished, but his eyes betrayed fleeting moments of worry. Candace realized that Charlie was balancing multiple pressures, managing Brigitte's involvement, controlling public perception, and shielding those closest to him from fallout. The situation was staggering, and every interaction carried weighty consequences. A media frenzy erupted when leaked emails, texts, and photos hinted at secret meetings and sensitive exchanges. Fans and journalists dissected every detail, fueling speculation and debate. Candace watched the chaos unfold, knowing timing, discretion, and strategy were critical. Amid the storm, she discovered that Charlie Kirk had been coordinating with an anonymous intermediary, carefully controlling what information surfaced and what remained hidden. The messages suggested a deliberate effort to manage perception, protect reputations, and navigate the influence surrounding Brigitte Macron. Candace felt both relief and alarm. She was closer to the truth, but one misstep could be catastrophic. Tension peaked during a private dinner with Charlie and the intermediary. Candace confronted him. "The secrecy and manipulation are spiraling. What's your plan?" Charlie admitted he had tried to protect everyone, but agreed that waiting any longer was no longer an option. Insider contacts confirmed suspicions, alliances shifted, and hidden agendas surfaced. The story was bigger than just Charlie and Brigitte. It was a complex web of strategy, influence, and concealed truths. As the next public event approached, at the event, cameras flashed as Candace observed Charlie and Brigitte's subtle nods, touches, and positioning, signaling a deeper connection than publicly acknowledged. A journalist's question caused a flicker of tension in Charlie's eyes, revealing Brigitte's active influence on the narrative. Afterward, Candace confronted Charlie again, Brigitte knows more than you realize, and the public is piecing it together. Charlie acknowledged the exposure was accelerating faster than expected. Together, they crafted a strategy to reveal select truths while uncovering the full extent of his knowledge and Brigitte's involvement. Encrypted communications between Charlie and his intermediary revealed deliberate concealment, strategic timing, and influence management on a global scale. Candace realized the stakes were immense. Public perception, political dynamics, and personal reputations hung in the balance. The story was no longer just about secrets, it was a high-stakes game of control, timing, and influence. Candace knew every gesture, message, and interaction could alter the unfolding drama. Social media buzzed with speculation, and the world was watching. The revelations about Charlie Kirk's knowledge of Brigitte Macron were only the beginning. Candace was now at the center of a global story, poised to uncover truths that could shock the public. Every week brought new developments, and the stakes continued to rise. The next explosive chapter was imminent, and the world would be watching every move, eager for the truth to finally surface.